Dad Mod's Media Machine presents the Brews with the Dudes podcast.
We're just testing shit real quick. I'm looking this up because I'm fucking curious.
Oh, we're not testing, dude. We're live.
Oh, we're live
We're
now?
going live in 5.
The straight up automobile ignition.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Hey, guys, you might notice something a little bit different. Maybe just slightly different. Maybe not at all.
Quintana.
Well, guess what?
It was a lot different. It doesn't look like a cave anymore.
Yeah. It's not an ISIS cave anymore.
No,
it's,
we've upgraded to a non-kill animal shelter.
Wow. Well done. This does look like a cozy place where you'd put an animal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dogs will chew on the wood wall there.
There's already cat piss somewhere down here, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So, hey, guys, we're hanging out in the new podcasting studio.
Yeah. And it's amazing that this went from literally just storage of holiday crap
Yeah.
to this.
Yeah, it's lovely. Like I'm blown away. I mean, we did like very sort of like as cheap as we possibly could put this together so far. It's not done by any stretch. There's actually a lot more that has to be done.
Yeah.
A lot more technical shit, but this is sort of like this is what it's going to look like.
It's a space.
Yeah. So, you guys actually from the view, it looks like you can't see this wall, so it doesn't even matter that we painted it, though it looks way better.
Yes, it's not a yellow, white, off-white, stained white, moldy white.
So what was super cool about this, and we'll be putting out a video about how we put it all together and stuff, so if you're curious, check out the Dad Mods channel for that, but so we just basically picked up some curtains. We ordered up these guys, to just, obviously have a nice backdrop. It was $30 some, 30 something. That's pallet wood, which, I mean, you look at, you're like, yeah, that's definitely pallet wood.
Pallet wood.
Yeah, which I really love. Like, I know it like it's rough
good.
and whatever. I think it gives like a cool look to it.
It's very Instagrammy.
It is very Pinterest.
That's
very
that's
Pinterest.
the white girl website.
For sure. Like, we might do a little bit of staining with it too, just to like add some more color to it. You'll see the old red, white, and blue from the other spot. And then we had curtains left over from my place. So these are faded on the backside. And we just didn't like the purple in the first place in that room. It was just making the room look too dark. So we took them all down. So they're like these super expensive, heavy curtains now we've got hanging up over there. So yeah, same old table, regular gear.
Gotta save the table.
You gotta save the table.
This table will always be with us.
Yeah, I think this is going to be one of those things where it's just like this table is going to... It has its story already, which we got from the previous owners. It's apparently been around the block. And
then we've spilled beer on it. We've tried to clean up beer off of it.
And left a crazy weird stain over here.
We've had all sorts of guests and people sitting here bullshitting with us. So
yeah, and
we'll keep the table.
And we actually do have a guest with us now.
She's supposed to be sleeping, but she's fighting her sleep. My youngest, Ember, who's almost 8 months, will not go to sleep. And my wife is working evening shift. So she's tucked under the table.
And she seems sad that you're talking. She's just so fed up with listening to you.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Or maybe she wants to be a guest. So should we give her a microphone and let her chew on it? I'll turn the levels down.
She just goes on this rant about how society is fucked. We keep killing the planet.
Right?
Like, okay. Just no more talking.
Little do you know, she's just like a communist. She's down there sparting like Karl Marx shit. Oh, sorry. She's triggered.
Take your pacifier.
Oh, man.
So we'll see how this goes.
So tonight's probably going to be another abbreviated podcast, but, we've got the little one with. We're working a little late here to try and get this thing set up, so we're just stoked to be able to show you guys, like, the next step with it. Last podcast was obviously bare bones. We're literally just sitting in front of that thing.
Yeah, on just... dining room tables.
Yeah. So this is tremendous upgrade so far, and it's funny because it's like I stood in here and I was like, this kind of looks legit. Like, this is weird for us.
Does it look legit on the
screen? It does on the screen actually look pretty legit.
That's awesome.
So I mean, it's surprising. It actually worked out. And so there's some fun things about it as well. Asbestos has entered the chat.
Yes, there's a random sweater buried in the wall.
There is a very Lebowski looking sweater. Yep. For
Yeah.
some reason, shoved between the wall. I don't
No
know if
fucking
there's
clue.
a corpse back there or what, but
God, I hope not. Maybe that's what she's freaked out. Maybe she can see dead people.
I mean, maybe some say kids can do that. We have a bathroom here too,
Well, yeah, it's my house.
which is amazing. No, but we were in the garage before where there's no bathroom option. So it's either you're traipsing through my house, which is a walk away. So you'd be gone for 10 minutes just to go take a leak. So this is great because we've got a bathroom just like, I don't know, 20 feet that direction.
Yeah, and so that's awesome.
That's going to be great for guests.
We have a space heater on tonight, but to be completely honest, we probably don't need it.
No, and I mean, like, once we get this window sealed up nicely,
Oh, yeah,
because
that'll
it's
help too.
super drafty, that'll take care of it. But yeah, so this is our permanent solution. Next step is for us to seal it up a little bit better so we can smoke cigars down here and have something draw out the smoke.
Ventilation pipe and all that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
we totally could, but yeah.
We need a mini fridge.
Yes, we will have the fridge. That's going to be a priority.
Stop hitting me, kid.
Another cool thing that we're going to do, we talked about this, I think, in the last podcast, is we actually built a small partition wall over in the corner behind the camera here. And that partition wall is actually going to have a monitor on it, as well as a lot of the equipment is going to be sort of stored there. And what's going to be nice about that is like we're bringing back the whole marketplace. We're going to try and do a little bit more with being able to use the internet to look up things, and it'll be a little bit more added to the conversation.
Yeah, it'll be nice to have all that back again.
Yeah, so if you're watching on YouTube or Spotify, you'll get the visual of that, obviously. But it'll be nice because then the guests aren't like trying to look at a little laptop over here.
Or the internet just not wanting to work.
Yeah, so we'll obviously have an Ethernet connection hooked up down here, but also like the guests will be able to like look at the screen up there, which is going to show, cars that are built at SEMA or boobs or whatever I decide to put up there for everybody to see.
Kind of go hand in hand.
They kind of do. So it's going to be great. I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome to see just this whole place keep evolving moving forward.
Yeah.
Like I said, it already looks great. We have maybe a day's worth of work into this, all said and done.
Yeah, it's really not bad. We've got to obviously do something with the the logo. We're gonna have an actual something highlighted here in the back, some Brews of the Dudes thing.
Just a little bit more character.
A little bit more character, yeah, a little more official. And we're thinking about having a wall of fame for
we
the
should
beers.
totally do that.
Yeah, I really like the idea. Just like something simple in the back here, so it's like we've got our top 10 or whatever.
Well, we should probably have a beer then.
We
since we're
should
talking
have
beer.
a beer. Let's do this.
Maybe she needs a beer, so she goes the
sweetie.
fuck to sleep.
She's so damn cute.
Yeah, she's just. I don't know what her problem is.
She's a baby.
Yeah, I thought about giving her some ibuprofen to help her get drowsy, but she's not sick.
I can't believe you said that out loud.
Oh, the thought crossed my mind. I didn't do it. It's just ibuprofen. It's like she's kind of teething.
It's just child abuse. I mean, it's not that big of a deal.
Child abuse would be holding a pillow above her face and
Over her face. All right, so what we got here is Odell Brewing. So we've had a number of these. We've had, I think, 90 Shilling. We've had their IPA. We've had I think they had an ale, like a red ale or something we had once. This is called Hazer Tag. Hazer Tag is a hazy IPA. Big fucking surprise. And another nice thing, actually, this is aside from this, having the mini fridge means variety.
yeah.
So, yes, we try and feature a new beer every podcast. We try and like have our favorites on if we can't have a new one. We'll be able to have variety. So if somebody does like a really heavy beer, or if I'm finally feeling not like a white girl, I can have a Guinness or something
Or
here
if
handy.
you're feeling like a white girl and I don't want to have a light beer.
Yeah.
So-
And we'll have non-alcoholic stuff here as well because, yes, it's called Brews with the Dudes, but it doesn't mean that
Not
you
everybody
have
drinks.
to fucking drink. Yeah. It seems that more and more people these days aren't drinking anymore, which is honestly a good thing.
Yeah, which is for the best. So
So we recognize that, and we'll have a mini fridge that'll be stocked with all the good shit.
maybe a couple Yoo-hoos just to mix it up a little bit.
Yoo-hoos?
I fucking love me
I
some
love
Yoo-hoo.
that idea. That's
love
funny.
some Yoo-hoos.
Some chocolate milk.
Maybe a couple pre-made bottles. We'll
Oh,
put a microwave down here
man.
so I can feed her and all that stuff. And
Well, I mean, why not? She's got to have her own brew. It's just says
Exactly.
it's booby brew.
well, It comes from the can.
Yeah.
There's water.
Yeah, you guys get your breast milk in a can?
Well, it's formula.
I know. I was like, wait, where are you ordering that in from?
China.
This is like a little woman who's sitting on a rice patty, squeezing it out,
can.
shipping it over.
You only filled up half a can today.
Yeah, it came from the wet market.
Is it organic? Is it free range? If it's,
I don't know.
If it's free range breast milk, did it come from a nudist colony then?
Ooh, good question. I mean, does free range mean they eat grass?
So there's probably some grass
Or at least
involved.
smoke grass. I mean, oh man.
I want to know. So, what's your thoughts on free range breast milk?
Free range breast milk. What does that mean? What does that mean to you?
This is pretty good though. I like this.
It's a great beer, and my wife loves it. She can't stop talking about
It's
it.
a very good beer. I like the can. It's very 80s. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's laser tag based, obviously. I like the hop. There's a hop on the end of the shooter.
Oh,
Which is kind of
hey, look at
interesting.
that.
That's kind of cool. What do you think?
So you might notice a little difference with the motion in the video as well. I did turn the frame rate down a little bit because we're kind of experimenting with the video side of this as well, kind of trying to get it all dialed in. I'm not sure I'm sold on it. It's a slightly lower frame rate, so it's like a little bit more twitchy.
Maybe the viewers will like it more though, because they can't see us as good.
I'll just turn down the resolution to do that. But yeah.
See, what
Yeah,
we
so
got to do
we'll-
is somebody who knows anime make this an anime with us just doing our thing. So it's
Anime.
So it's really fun to watch, and they don't have to look at us.
That's funny. That's a funny idea. That would probably cost a fortune to have somebody watch it and then animate to
Then
us.
draw it up and turn it all toon-like. And
I
whatnot.
would not be surprised though, because like really, what is it? Instagram and what is the Chinese based, the new one where it just has like crazy
I have no clue.
permissions
what you're
built
talking
into
about. You know
it.
who you're talking to, right?
Yeah, that's true. You're very out of touch.
I'm not very social media savvy.
TikTok.
Oh, I know TikTok.
Yeah, the Chinese surveillance app.
Yeah. Oh, is that what that is?
Disguised as a video program.
Oh, they know
Yeah,
exactly
it's
where I live then.
insane.
If you ever want to kill half an hour and have no clue what happened, jump on TikTok.
Yeah, do you have it?
I do have TikTok.
See, what are you talking about? I don't have TikTok.
There's some funny shit on TikTok. There's some really funny shit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of boobs, but there's a lot
There's a lot
of
of boobs
shit.
on it?
Oh yeah.
Like booby boobs?
Like no,
Like
it's
Reddit boobs?
not Reddit boobs, more like JCPenney's catalog boobs.
I can dig that. I mean, I grew up on that shit.
You're like, I still have my favorite one. It's from 1992. It was the summer issue, and
Yeah, exactly. Jesus Christ.
kid just sitting there, just
She chilling?
she's chilling, but she keeps kind of doing that like slow blink.
All right. So I just increased the frame rate. Hey, it looks a lot better. Okay. We're mid recording, able to change the frame rate.
I
So,
just-
hey guys, welcome back. We're
Finally caught up to 2022.
you can see the 30 frames per second. Jesus. I just
what it
can't
is.
believe this laptop's given us so much trouble with that.
Just look on the bright side. The background looks nice.
It does look nice.
We might look like shit, but the background
It's
looks
like,
really
are we
good.
going to have to build a goddamn desktop to handle all this?
We could just
Maybe.
Yeah.
We'll look into it.
I really don't want to. I'd spent money on that to solve all of our fucking problems.
Well, with how this thing's been treating you, do we just got to bring it back and build a desktop? No, you need a laptop. Really, like, we'll figure it out. We'll talk to
that
some
thing came in
friends.
handy for like power crews and whatnot. So,
Yeah.
so we just gotta. I'll have to do a little bit of digging to see if it needs upgraded or
Right.
some dumb setting
Or
that
if we
needs to get
like
switched.
just give Charlie a call and try and set up like a connects
I would
remotely
just
or
drop
something.
it off at his house. I would drive down there and be like, fix this. I'll pick
Here's
it up in a week.
$50.
I need this by Thursday next week, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I don't care if you send it back or drop it off.
Yeah. We'll look it up too and just make sure that it's like all the settings are optimized and that
It's.
you know.
I have a feeling, knowing me, it's something really dumb that I just don't know about.
yeah, probably. Whatever, man.
Yeah, it is what it is. Fuck it. I don't care. It's nice. I really like being in. I don't have shoes on right now, and I'm comfortable.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
I love that. It is middle of January, and I'm sitting here with a t-shirt and socks on, and pants.
Yeah.
I have pants on too, but it's like if we were in the garage, we'd be freezing cold still.
Yeah, we would be.
It's nice.
Yeah. So I'm sure the people really love hearing about your feet temperature.
But I'm sure some of them have a
So-
foot fetish. I know you have a sock fetish, so I'm sure they
I have a sock fetish. Well, it's not so much a fetish.
It's more as a commitment.
Receptacle. I mean, I do call the wife that too. That's my.
You call it the receptacle. Is that your pillow talk?
Yeah. I mean, it's nicer than dumpster. Let's be real.
Yeah, that's true. or the catch-all.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, the catch-all is pretty good. Yeah.
So I just refer to my wife as a piece of meat sometimes.
Well, that's the best way to do it.
Yeah, it's like, you're just a piece of meat.
I mean, it makes me wonder. It's like women love both the whole like She-Ra women empowerment side of things,
Yeah.
but they also really seem to love being a piece of meat too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of contradictory, but
make up your
I
mind.
don't mind.
Because no matter what, we're always wrong.
Yeah.
So just fucking make up your mind.
No shit. Well, if you make up your mind, you have to commit to something, and if
That's
you have to
true.
commit to something, then you're also giving up control.
Yeah, then you're probably not a woman.
Yeah, exactly. If you have to relinquish control, then we can't be in trouble for everything.
That's true. That's very true.
So it's a master plan, diabolical master plan built into every single female.
Ever.
Yeah. Well, it's fine because no women listen to our podcast.
What are you
So
talking
we're
about?
good.
Kyle listens.
Zing.
Sorry, Kyle. Is what it is.
Hey, asbestos has entered the chat.
Asbestos gets the best of us.
Yep. Jesus Christ, man. So we got to kind of get back on our game here. We're a little rusty.
We are a little rusty. It's probably from the asbestos actually thrown us.
Yeah.
If we're completely honest.
I mean, asbestos doesn't rust, but yeah.
But not just the chemicals.
Well, you know that asbestos is like, it's just a fiber. So it's like, it's this crazy, you can't see it. So that's creepy enough as it is.
Oh, shit.
It's this like tiny little fibrous particle that never breaks down. I don't think there's a way to break it down. I think it's permanent forever. And it's
awesome.
So light that it will just float in the air.
Yeah, I know it would do that. That's why.
Just for like hours.
My house is over 100 years old, so these pipes up here had asbestos for insulation in them. And when we bought the house, they're like, "Well, we can't remove that because, like you said, it just floats in the air. You'll never get it all out of there." So they wrap it.
Yeah.
So there's asbestos underneath that.
They just lock it
Paper
in with
mache
this
material.
crazy, it really does look like a paper mache. Yeah, I mean, it's not the worst idea. I talked to somebody at a testing laboratory because I wanted to understand it better because I got a really old house as well, built from the exact same era. And it's funny because like these houses are gorgeous. Like the woodwork is beautiful. Like everything is hardwood. It's plaster, so they're big, heavy, thick walls. So it's like good sound deadening. There's, it's great for a lot of reasons. But some of the trade-offs is that the materials that they used were lead paint and asbestos shows up and stuff. So I had some ducting. So I have forced air. You have a radiant heat.
Yep.
So water. And so your water pipes are wrapped in asbestos-based stuff. Well, my ducts were... It's in question. It was in a window where maybe it was used, maybe it wasn't. So I called the lady up and I was like, okay, so what do I do with this? Because I don't want to really disturb this shit that much.
Yeah,
and
no
I had
shit.
removed some stuff and found paper wrapping on the outside of it. And so I was like, oh, fuck. Is this asbestos based? So I texted a few buddies who were in heating, cooling already. And they're just like, it doesn't really look like it to me. And they're like, basically like, wet it down really good so that the fibers don't float up. If it's wet, they don't float away, right? Haul out whatever you've already had to touch, and then from here, you can always send it out to get tested. But
That's true.
That's kind of it. So I called up the lady at the testing place, and I asked her about it, and I'm just like, so I've already removed some. whatever this stuff is. She's like, chances are it's not actually the kind of asbestos where there's a high concentration in it where it's actually an issue. There's a good chance it isn't even asbestos in the first place. And she's like, and honestly, asbestos is just everywhere. It's just in the air permanently. Like us walking down the street.
Could be asbestos.
There's just asbestos in the air. And there is. There just is. But it's one of those things where it's like, it's not going to kill us simply by walking down the street because it takes forever. It has to build up in your system. And then what it does, and the reason it became such an issue was like all of these guys who were working, whether it was installation or it was removal, remediation, were exposed to it on the job. So every day. They're exposed every day.
And it's a lot heavier concentrate and all that kind of stuff too. So.
And what happens is it's one of those things that builds up in your system, kind of like lead, where and we'll talk about lead here in a second, but I've learned a lot from owning an old house. The asbestos, like, it will build up in your lungs, and then because it never breaks down ever, it just sits there and scratches the inside of your lungs, so it creates scarring. So there's a scarring that happens inside your lungs, and over time, that's when mesothelioma develops, is because of all of that scarring. So she basically said that's not that big of a deal. And really, like, the whole locking it in is actually kind of a great idea. Like, why disturb it? Yeah. Just leave it be. We don't know how dangerous it is, so you just lock it in with this crazy resin, paper mache stuff, and it does its thing.
I just say fuck it.
Yeah. Now, let me tell you, though, lead paint is a way bigger issue, I think.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, because it's a big issue for your kids.
Yeah, because what do kids do? They put literally everything in their fucking mouth.
Yeah, and what was happening, like the big thing I think in the 80s that was happening, is that it was a lot of these old windows were, because kids love to hang out in windows, right?
Yeah.
They fucking love just like sitting up on the sill and like looking out and doing, hanging out, looking out the window. You just drive down the street. You look at every single window, you're bound to see a kid or a cat or both.
Yeah.
And what was happening is that people were painting these old window frames, and back in the day, they had very high friction window frames.
I still have those kind of windows.
Okay, so yours aren't painted though.
No.
Which is good.
They're all just the natural wood.
Yeah. See, the people who owned this house had a lot of money. They weren't the paint type of people.
Thank God.
They painted the plaster, but they didn't paint any of the hardwood in this place, which is gorgeous.
Except for upstairs, they did.
Okay.
For some fucking reason.
So there's a chance there could be lead-based paint on that. But so what happens is that when you're opening and closing this repeatedly, it's just a brazing and that lead
flakes and all that kind of shit.
And that's building up in the sills. And actually, which is crazy, this even goes back to when there was lead in gasoline, is that there's just like lead on the ground, just like on these old streets. So just cars driving along can actually kick up dust and shit that can settle on window frames if the window is open. I'll go back to the whole risk of kids, and then we'll talk about that too. But so what was happening is that kids were sitting up in the windows, and there's either flakes or there's just the dust building up. And because their hands are always wet and their hands are always in their mouth, they're literally ingesting lead that way.
That makes a lot of sense.
And it's terrifying because literally a pinhead's worth of lead, I think straight lead or maybe it's lead paint, is enough to actually cause cognitive issues in kids.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, lead's extremely dangerous.
And it's forever. It builds up in your system, and it's permanently there. It's scary shit. So it's one of those things, like, you don't, you be careful. Take a whole lot of precautions.
Old houses, so much shit. I mean,
get a HEPA vacuum.
Well, not only that, but about 5 feet from us, we have knob and tube wiring.
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Hanging down a little bit too that we got to take care of.
So my buddy, he's worked in construction for ages, building house type of constructions, and he's done a lot of remodeling and stuff with a couple of agencies here in town. One of the biggest ones, actually, One Roof. He's the top dog there, and he was telling me about how they've had houses. They've literally had inspections where the guy will come out and he'll inspect for like lead dust and stuff like that, and he goes to the windows. That's the main thing, is they go to the windows. And they said he kept failing on that lead test over and over on it, and he's like, what the fuck? Realized the window was open. So when the window was open, cars were driving by on these main streets, and because there's this old lead gasoline, it still, just from exhaust, that lead doesn't
just
go
kicks
away.
up.
It ends up sitting on the road, and that ended up getting kicked up, and they were failing
Jesus
inspections
Christ,
because of that. Isn't that wild?
crazy.
To think of how much is just straight up in the air.
We're fucked.
Or we're not fucked, and this is just kind of we have so much information that yes, it for sure there's risk there, for sure, but clearly we're coming in contact with this shit on a regular basis.
Most of us are okay.
It's one of those things where it's like, take precautions with your kids. Don't let them sit out in the yard and eat dirt, because literally
It's hard to do with boys.
will flake off of old windows on the outside. That's one of those things, like around the base of your house, they say, like, take precautions with the soil that's around there, because again, it flakes off of the windows or flakes off of the siding. So a lot of houses have lead paint on the outside too. So it's like exercise like normal caution, but you don't have to like bubble wrap the world, basically.
I should probably bubble wrap Roman though,
because he eats dirt.
He just fucking he just does so much dumb shit. He eats snow.
Is that because he's eating a lot of lead paint?
I don't know. He's just fucking stupid sometimes. I love him to death, but yeah, he's just typical boy. He'll just dirt, snow. Like he's done that a couple of times. Sand for some fucking reason.
Eating sand. Yeah. Well, I did too as a kid.
He'll play in the sandbox, and I'll come inside. I'm like, how do you have sand on your face? It's like the only thing I can think of is you fucking ate it.
Yeah, or, he might just be, like, drooling from being all excited, and then his face ends up with sand on it, and it sticks because his face is wet. I don't know. Kids are just, like, they're little feral creatures, especially boys.
Yeah, he's just messy. He gets into everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, that's just kind of how boys are. And boys especially, you just kind of have to play damage control and keep them out of the most dangerous. You gotta just like let them fly a little bit and hurt themselves, but also just like, hey, don't play with that rusty thing.
Yeah, there'll be times like we'll be walking home again. I think I told you this months ago. He likes rocks, and I was like, he grabbed a piece of asphalt. I'm like, that's not a rock. Put that shit down. You don't need to bring asphalt back to the house.
That's so funny. Asphalt's kind of cool looking though. Like I get the appeal.
Yeah, I get it, but it's like, dude, you're not playing with oily, nasty asphalt.
Right. I know. It's like literally, like, what is it? Rock soaked in oil sludge. It's crazy.
Yeah, you don't need to touch that.
It's so funny the shit that we build the world out of.
Yes, stuff that just is disgusting.
Oil sludge, man. I think concrete is pretty amazing. I don't think concrete gets enough credit.
Yeah, concrete is really impressive.
If you think about it, it's just like this crazy material that some dude was like, oh, I'm going to pour some water on this, and it just got like rock solid.
Yeah, it's like...
It's incredible.
What impresses me is it's no different than making like cupcakes. You take this mix and then you just add water and mix it together, and you're like, holy shit, this creates something.
I know. I don't know what exactly it is. Maybe you guys can tell us in the comments. And this would be nice where we would have like the internet. We could search this kind of stuff.
Well, we do have the internet.
We do.
It's just going to be slow.
Why is it going to be slow?
I don't know, because that laptop never seems to want to cooperate.
That's so weird, man. Well, your first problem is using Microsoft Edge, but we'll talk about that another day.
That's what it came with.
What is concrete made of?
It just says water and dust.
It's going to say asbestos.
Oil sludge? What?
Oh, God. See, it's just going to give me a bunch of fucking...
mixtures.
Come on. Just... What are the materials needed to make concrete? Concrete is hardening building material created by combining a chemically inert mineral aggregate, sand, gravel, or crushed stone, a binder, natural or synthetic cement, chemical additives, and water. Okay, that's not... I want more
That's
info.
a very basic... It's like, what makes a car? What
because
is
here's
an engine and 4 wheels? Like, yeah, no shit, but...
Well, and here's the thing. Like, this was invented... Concrete was invented ages ago.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, when was it discovered? Hi, honey. Oh, my God, you're so cute.
Go the fuck to
God,
sleep,
I love
kid.
kids. Absolutely love kids.
Yeah, except for when they do this.
Yeah, literally, the history, ancient times, man. Shit.
Well, like,
700 BC, bro.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my God. They were starting to figure this stuff out by like 700 BC. That's incredible.
Well, yeah.
Actually, classical era. In the ancient Egyptian and later Roman eras, builders discovered that adding volcanic ash to the mix allowed it to set underwater.
Holy crap.
Concrete floors were found in the royal palace of the Tirans in Greece, which dates roughly 1400 to 1200 BC.
Damn.
So
That shit's still holding up.
3,000 years ago.
Yeah. And that shit's still holding up. And
She's down there chewing on something.
we build fucking roads that last like 10 years and we have to fix them now.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they had the same shit. You know, they had the same issues. And you got to figure, like, a lot of these places where stuff has still survived is like, I mean, they're not in where there's frost heaves.
That's true.
You know?
the Romans weren't running snowplows over their shit.
No, and I mean the pyramids weren't built in the Vancouver.
Yeah, no shit.
Granted, Vancouver isn't a great example. We'd be talking like Ontario. Ontario gets some snow and some cold. Saskatchewan.
Ooh, wow, you got some sand on it. Here, just fucking dust that off.
Right. Yeah, it's so wild. I don't know. Humans are. It's crazy. I mean, like 3,000 years ago is nuts. That's a lot of humans ago if you think about it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's a ton.
It really makes you wonder, and this is such a Joe Rogan talking point, but it's just like it makes you wonder, like what kind of civilizations happened before us, and if there was ever any that like technologically, I don't know. Not that they would be further along than us, because clearly we're splitting atoms, but. Where were they at? Like, if you look at, oh my God, who had the aqueducts? Was it the Mayans? I don't remember which civilization built in like aqueducts and all like this crazy, just amazing shit.
Yeah.
Native Americans with like agriculture, incredible shit that they were doing ages ago.
Look at the discovery of gunpowder. You know, That conquered the world. If you figured out what gunpowder was and how to use it,
create an explosive.
The fucking world.
Well, yeah, I mean, like you got fire, and they're like, cool. Okay, so we can use fire for a lot of things. Yeah. I don't know how well fire worked as a weapon. Like you can hurl big balls of fire,
yeah,
but it isn't combustible. And then somebody figured out that like, oh, this burns so fast that it literally pops.
Well, they figured out like, oh, we have fire. Oh shit, we could forge metal with fire. Like if we use fire, we can get other things hot and hit with a hammer now.
Yeah,
and look,
forging.
We can make shit with this now.
Forging is just next level. Like when they started developing knives and swords and stuff like that through like forging.
And armor.
So what's really cool is like I love, and this is another tangent. This kiddo is so cute. She's just squawking.
You say that until you're not the one that's got to go to bed, and she's gonna be squawking away because she refuses to go to sleep.
Yeah, silly child.
I'll lock her in a different room.
So one of my favorite tattoo artists here in town, his name's Kyle James. I'm not positive what his last name is. I don't think it's James.
Could be.
Yeah, I think his middle name is James, and I think that's how they differentiated a benchmark because there's so many Kyles.
Yeah.
Maybe I could be wrong. Maybe his last name is literally
sure.
James. I don't know.
I think it is James.
Oh, well, it could be his last name.
Kyle Grover, who's done my work, and then Kyle James, who has done your work.
Yeah. So, fucking kick-ass dude. So you can look him up on Instagram, Kyle James Tattoo, I think. And then Smoky Acre Farms is like the Instagram they made for him and his wife. They do it together, and it's just like all their house projects and stuff like that. They've got this cute little house that they've got up in the woods, and they do so much. It's so funny. It's like it's so much of like our generation doing stuff like old school style. Like we all love to have chickens.
Yeah.
Like we have so close buddies who have chickens. I would love to have chickens.
Or pigs. We know somebody who has a pig.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, they're not, that's not for a normal farm reason.
No,
that's a domesticated pet. Looking at you, keeners. But anyway, so they got all that shit going on up there. But so he actually does some blacksmithing. He's been getting into it, and he actually has
that's
a little
really badass.
Yeah, he's got what is it called, a little kiln or whatever. Yeah, so he's got a kiln, and he literally cooks the steel, and he's done bent wrought iron and stuff like that, and he's made some like decorations in the house, and he's used it to make, I think, I don't know if it's like shelf arms or whatever and stuff.
shit.
Just like cool
That's
little
pretty
stuff.
badass.
Yeah, it's just really neat to me, like to bring that kind of like old school stuff, old school thinking back.
That and glass blowing are two things I wish I had time to learn how to do, but I don't. Like if I didn't have to work, there are so many things I'd be trying to learn how to do, and those two would
Right.
be easily on that list.
Yeah,
100%.
I know.
Like
That is such a good thing. Like, how much shit would you want to learn?
oh god, fucking everything.
Because I'm one of those people that's just, I'm never satisfied.
Why do you think I just? It took me a year to like finalize it, and I wanted to think about why do you think I'm just like I'm gonna learn to play the drums because I want
Right.
to, and if I don't do it now, then I'll probably never fucking do it.
Yeah, I know. That's such a that's one thing that you and I are 100% on the same wavelength about, and we'll go on tangents preaching about this, not on camera.
We could go on. I mean, we got
But
the time,
we ought to now. So we're very much the type that are very aware of our own mortality, and so it's one of those things. It's like it lights a fire under your ass.
Yeah.
So we're constantly trying to do shit
We're
and
trying
make
to
life.
talk.
My genes need to live on. Well, your genes. I'm pointing at. I'm like, my genes.
Jokes
No,
on you.
they're-
She doesn't have any jeans on.
No Oshkosh bagoshes.
Oddly enough, she's wearing a onesie that says Little Lebowski Urban Achievers on it.
Perfect. Jesus Christ. If you guys haven't picked that up yet, we are Lebowski fans.
Just a bit. But yeah, we both kind of have this mindset of like any time could be our time. So let's fucking do everything we want to do when we want to do it.
Yeah,
And
for real.
kind of that grab life by the balls attitude. And
I think it's so valuable.
it is. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing.
Yes.
It's a good thing because there's so many experiences. My wife and I both like to travel, so we're constantly looking at trips. We're taking the kids to San Diego next month for a week as a family trip. But we try to do a little trip with just the two of us. And there's a slim possibility we might travel somewhere to see Tom Segura do a show.
That's such a good idea.
Like just for like 4 days. Like
Do it.
Go out, hang out for like 2 days and fly back type deal.
Seriously, stand-up comedy is the best shit to see live.
But it's shit like that. It's like, yeah, let's do things. Let's experience things.
Oh,
you know?
for sure.
That's why we build what we build, and like I said, that's why I decided I want to play the drums and all that. And my wife kind of hates it sometimes because she's like, "You're too busy this week. Dial it back. You have indoor soccer, you got bowling, you got dad's moms, and your drum lesson." And I'm like, I know, but it's okay. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, because you're just like,
if I can handle it, I can handle it.
to me, it's like you got a towel and you got a saturated towel. And
Is this a lot like the sock?
It is a lot like the sock. It's soaked with whatever you want to, and you're trying to wring out every possible drop. That's my thing, you know.
Absolutely.
It's like we'll give this a little bit cuter analogy, and you're pressing orange juice, you know. You're pressing oranges, so you want to get every last little drop out of it because it's sweet.
Yeah.
Life is sweeter when you get every bit of it out of it. And the people who just spend the rest of all of their lives just kind of like sitting and like letting other people entertain them, living through other people's experiences, that just seems like such a waste to me. So I am perpetually I'm never comfortable, if I'll be completely straight up. I'm one of those people who's like this is so cute. Like I'm comfortable in the sense that like I'll sit down and I'll watch a movie, I'll watch a TV show or whatever, I'll kick back next to a fire. But even that, I have my own hierarchy of how I'd prefer to spend my leisure time. So
Yeah.
I feel like there's more to get out of sitting next to a fire and just like chilling out that way. But I feel like my life is crazy busy. I got my regular job, I've got the dad mods thing, and then I'm editing video at night. I'm taking motorcycle rides. I'm like going for runs. I'm filling everything that I possibly can. And
Yeah, I think she agrees with you.
yeah, and talking about like experiences too. I mean, that's kind of what it's all about.
Oh, totally.
Like, yeah, traveling. I mean, I've been rock climbing up the North Shore of Minnesota, so I'm hanging off of 100-foot rock walls over literally over Lake Superior.
We drove halfway across the country to go racing.
Yeah, we did, exactly.
And then and then a couple years later, well, we're gonna travel not quite as far to pick up a 60-year-old car.
Yep.
70-year-old car to
drive the old Ford back.
Just shit like that.
And that to me is like scratching the surface. It's like I drove and I know it's gonna be one of those things where it's like it's super cool the first time that you hear it, and I feel bad for anybody who's gonna hear me say it over and over and over again. But I got to drive a 70s 911 from basically Wisconsin to the ocean, the Pacific Ocean, and then down Highway 101. It was fucking incredible.
So I have a question
and
for
that's
you.
one of those things, is like once you do that, it kind of like breaks the ceiling. It pushes the ceiling higher up of what your idea is for sort of like experiences. So you go, holy shit, like that was epic. And then I got back literally the next week and went skydiving.
Okay, so you kind of actually answered my question.
Yeah.
Accidentally.
So we're going to go jump out of a plane?
No.
Oh, it's so good. We should.
I want to, but it terrifies the hell out of me. My question was, with the exception of like family-oriented things, so having kids, getting married, all that kind of jazz. 3 best life experiences.
Oh, the 9/11.
The 9/11. Okay, I just want to verify what you said there. I didn't hear the all the way. I thought you said 9/11. And I'm like, no. You can't say that.
Is dark.
The 9/11.
Oh, I've got a story about 9/11.
Oh God, I don't know if I want to hear that.
Well, I was suspended that day. Yeah, I've been suspended during some big history moments, and I was suspended a lot. I fucked off a lot in high school. So my top 3 personal experiences, my God. So it's strictly personal, like
you could say like it involves the wife, but I'm like,
sure.
But like getting married or having a child, like that's all kind of, I don't want to say basic stuff. But
they're obvious. They're obvious things.
They're obvious
like
things.
Clearly, like seeing my children be born was nothing tops that. That's in terms of like moving the ground that you walk on.
My children be born, because that was pretty moving.
Pretty horrifying. Yeah, obviously like driving the 911. That was incredible. Visiting New York was super cool.
Ooh, New York's up there on the list.
New York was a lot of fun to go and see. I got to go to Anthony Bourdain's restaurant. Like it was
that would be pretty
super cool. Toured Battery Park. Went to
Battery Park. Battery Park's really sweet.
Battery Park is pretty cool. Yeah. We did a lot. We actually stayed up in the Hamptons. So I'm like literally up there with like the super rich motherfuckers. It was cool. That was a cool experience.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It's like skydiving might be up there, so that might round up my top 3. I've had some cool shit because it's kind of hard to like. Also, like the rock climbing up the North Shore. I mean, I'm like literally hanging over the lake. It was cool. I've had some cool experiences.
That's a very surreal moment.
What about you? What are your top 3?
I'm gonna say our Hawaii trip, because we did shark diving.
That's so cool.
Like we weren't just we were in the ocean, but we were in a cage.
But see, here's the funny thing.
That's up there on my list.
When you've had so many good experiences, you forget the fact that you saw a blue whale break out of the water and jump in front of you. Like that was fucking cool.
Yeah. So like
gray whale. It was a gray whale. Yeah.
So like that trip we did. Like the whole trip was fantastic, but we did shark diving like one of the first days, and you're just in the ocean in a metal cage. Like that was super sweet.
That would be super cool. So did you poke it?
No, they laid it down like you do not stick anything outside the cage. You can hang on to the cage.
You can't boop its snoot,
but none of that. So you had to sign a waiver.
See, and that's how stupid I am. Where I'm like, experience. Like
hey,
you could just a finger, just like give him like the small finger. Just once he gets close to the cage, just boop the snoot.
We also rode mopeds around the island.
Yeah.
So like,
that's super
there's
cool.
one part where we're leaving Honolulu. We're leaving Waikiki Beach area, and you have, old volcano on one side, ocean and beaches on the other side, and it was just incredible. So. And my wife never has ever done anything like that either, and so it's her first time operating a moped. to the point where when we got back, she bought a moped. She liked it so much.
Yeah, that's so cool.
So that
I get that
that whole
impulse.
trip, if that's one or two, that's easily up there. Trying to think, going to Sweden is on that list.
Oh, I'm
'Cause
jelly
I
of
was
that.
part of a soccer exchange, so I actually
They exchanged you for a soccer ball?
yeah, somebody lost. So there's a sister city soccer exchange. When I was in high school, I was like 13, and they had a team come here, and the player stayed with you and all that kind of stuff. And the following year, we went there, and you'd stay for 10 days, and you'd play in a soccer tournament with local teams and all that. So I got to stay with this host family, and it was just me who went.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And so that was pretty sweet. My first trip away from my family, foreign country, and it was just an incredible experience. Like we had a game of pickup soccer. So soccer is so big over there that we were traveling through the town and whatnot, and there's just a soccer field, just like there's a baseball field here. There's just a soccer field just out of the blue, and
Right.
neighborhood kids and my host kids, friends and whatnot are all there. We just played a pickup game for
That's
a
so
couple
cool.
hours. And it was just a blast. So that's probably on my list.
That's pretty good.
Driving the BMW down to Kansas is, I don't know if it's in my top 3, but it's close because it was just such a good time. You shush up. We're not talking about your top 3, which is what? Not, holding your head up and not shitting yourself after lunch.
Those eyes. That's so fucking
I think
cute.
my third is I've seen 2 space shuttles in my life. And as somebody who, as you guys have probably seen from all the video footage and stuff, I am fascinated by space. I don't know a lot about it, but it fascinates me. So seeing the space shuttle that built the Hubble telescope, like that was super cool.
That's cool. So you saw, what'd you see launch?
We didn't see anything launch, unfortunately.
But you got to go see
But
them.
we've been to
Yeah.
the Kennedy Space Center, which is incredible. So we saw the Discovery, and then I've seen. Oh, there's one other one. There's one space shuttle in New York that we saw, and it just
That would be
fascinated me.
super
It was
cool.
just so cool to see that kind of stuff.
I don't know why it's never occurred to me that like you can do that. Like
Yeah,
you can go and see that shit.
Yeah, it's
I
incredible.
would
to see.
love to see that.
At the Kennedy, that's where SpaceX is based out of too. So you can see their buildings and all that, and they have the big track machines that they use to move shuttles around and all that, and they drive you past the old launch pads.
Really? Were any of the Falcons there?
Not at the time that we went.
Okay. I would love to see a Falcon Heavy launch.
They did have all of the equipment in the room from the Apollo 11 missions, from where Houston was set up and all that stuff. They had all of that
so cool.
removed and brought in, and they set it all back up to how it was back in the day. So that was pretty sweet too. And they had other
Wow.
missiles and space oriented like rovers and stuff like that and whatnot set up.
That's awesome.
So that's
I love
pretty up there
history
on my
shit
list.
too. You know, it's like and were you there? Did you go to the Chicago Science and Industry Museum?
I don't think so. I think you guys did that the year after.
Okay, the Mods vs. Rockers
Like
that you
said,
didn't go
when
to.
you live a badass life, the first year of Mods versus Rockers was so fucking cool.
It was awesome.
That was an incredible trip.
So the talking about like history. So I've been to the Chicago Museum of Science and Industry. You ever get an opportunity? It's fucking breathtaking. It's literally like the best. It's the best museum I've ever been to, and I've been to some pretty cool shit. There is a German U-boat downstairs.
Really?
Full scale, the real thing, literally a seized
That would be pretty cool.
German U-boat.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, walking through, like touring that was mind blowing.
That would be really sweet.
Yeah,
See, that's.
she's telling us something. She's like,
Yeah,
"We need to go party
She might want to be
upstairs."
held or something like that. she should definitely be passed out. She's usually asleep 2 hours ago.
Is she really?
Yeah,
Oh
she usually
shit!
falls asleep at 8.
I think we're keeping her awake.
Yeah, probably.
Should we wrap this
Yeah,
thing?
we can wrap it.
Oh man. Well, hey, this turned out to be pretty good. We meandered for the first 15 minutes, but this actually
Oh, shit.
turned into a pretty solid podcast, talking about personal experiences and shit. And if you guys really like the podcast, you'll inevitably hear us talk about it again. You know, it's That's just one of those topics that you and I feel so strongly about. Is like,
You only live once. So
yeah.
do what makes you happy and fucking love it.
Yeah, exactly. Regardless of your religious views, whether you think there's an afterlife, whether you think that there's nothing and we're, worm food, like, it's still, get everything you possibly can out of this life, because man, it goes by fucking quick. I am 38 years old, and I blink and a year goes by. It is crazy.
Well, with kids, life goes by so much quicker. It's just one more
wild.
thing. Which is a whole nother thing. Yeah, we're talking about you. Be quiet.
I love the little squawks.
But that's the other thing too, is like watching your kids succeed at things is such an incredible. That's one of my favorite things in life. Mm-hmm. Like watching Roman, my son, he's in a bowling league, and watching him, he's bowled like 2 or 3 games over 100. And watching him pull that off
is better than my wife.
It's incredible. He's bowled a 120. I've seen him bowl a 129.
Holy shit! With the roller, or is he throwing?
He 2-hands it
with his hands.
Yeah, he goes like that.
He bowled a 129 with his hands.
Yeah, he's got bumpers, but yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah, he has his own bowling ball. He's got an 8-pound ball.
So is this one of those things where he's bowled a 129 because he's bowled so many times that he's had so many opportunities?
Of luck, but his average for his first league season that he did, he ended up with an average of like 79.
Okay. So when he throws, how does it always bump off the bumper?
No.
So he's got some acuity. He can throw and not hit a bumper, which would have been a gutter ball.
I have seen him 2-hand throw a shot dead straight down the middle and I've seen him do it multiple times where he's gotten 8 or 9 pins, and then once where he's gotten a strike.
Damn.
So like he just has his little thing down. He's not perfect at it by any means, but he loves doing it.
So that's one of the wildest things to me. So my son is just a straight up feral animal. Like trying to get him to focus
in the yard
on for sure. Like trying to get this kid to focus on things. And I adore that about him. He's just like this crazy little wild kid, and like anything motorized, whatever. He's got all those things. But I love that your son, and you, I don't think
it's the
I think you're starting to figure it out now that we've had a few podcasts where we've ranted about how incredible it is that your son can throw like 30-foot putts in disc golf.
He could. That's like the only 2 things he's passionate about, though, is bowling and disc golf.
He's 3,
almost 4.
He is 3 years old.
He'll be 4 in 10 days.
Okay, so he's 4 years old, dude. What 4-year-olds are able to do that shit? Seriously,
I don't go to the park like, hey, how good's your 4-year-old at this?
Ask people that you know that have had kids that are around that age, and ask them what crazy. Like, ask them, hey, does your kid have any skills? And they'll look at you and be like,
nunchucking skills,
what
bow hunting skills.
Yeah, they'll be like, what skills do children have? And you'll be like, well, my son's actually really good at disc golf, and he can bowl really good. And they're going to be like, what the fuck are you doing? Teach my kids.
Yeah, and you can be fussy
exactly.
really good.
So look at this little shit. What's she going to be good at?
Oh, she's rubbing her eyes. Yeah, she's finally fed up with her shit.
She's checking out.
Yeah, she's like, you guys are fucking pissing me off.
You're rubbing my eyes pretty quick here, too. I'm ready to crash out. Go home and squeeze some boobies.
I don't get to. I gotta go to bed by myself. Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
Well,
baby.
on that note, little one, thank you very much, guys, for joining us. This will continue to change and improve. We are going to get more fun shit on the walls. We're going to kind of get
just a little bit more personality.
A little more personality, yeah. But this is pretty close.
It's awesome.
Pretty damn close. We might get a really ridiculous looking rug that you guys will never see because it looks like just from the framing that you really kind of don't see the floor bunch.
Which is funny because you freaked out about the little bit of gap at the bottom.
I didn't freak out, but I didn't prefer it.
We should paint that. I'm like, nobody will ever see that.
Yeah, and actually, I kind of like the light color because it's light next to the light floor.
Like, the only person that will ever see that is Jake.
Precisely. That is.
He's gonna lose probably 4 hours of sleep over that tonight. Guaranteed.
Better not. Yeah. God, I love how the space has turned out. So, hey guys, thank you very much for listening to another Brews with the Dudes podcast. If you want to figure out a way to support us, I don't know,
gift cards.
Keep listening. We'll be setting up the GoFundMe for beer, and no, man, just like kind of keep watching, enjoy it. Like it's cool. Like every week we've got new people tuning in, new subscribers, new people listening on the Spotify and all that stuff.
It's
So
fantastic.
yeah, it's
It's
really
fantastic.
fun. I really like. We started doing like the lives during the pandemic, and it was super fun, and we got like a lot of engagement in the beginning, and we found, despite the engagement dropping off for a while there, we found that we just loved it.
Yeah.
We love doing this, and
It's so much
we've
fun.
just kept it up, and we're at like, I think this is like number 60, I think.
Something
Something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh.
So we've been doing this for a minute, and we love it, and it actually, the viewers are growing, which is really funny.
To think that there are people out there that want to hear us just bullshit with each other for
Yeah.
2 hours at a time.
And we have some wonderful guests on too, so that does help.
It definitely helps. Yeah, our guest tonight is okay.
Yeah, she's just shitting herself like any other guest that we have.
She does have a helmet on.
All right, guys, enough of this. Thank you very much for joining us for another Brews with the Dudes podcast.
We will see you on the flip side.
We'll see you next
Week?
next
Tuesday.
Anytime that
Or
people
Monday.
say that, see you next Tuesday, I think of the acronym.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Yeah. All right, bye, guys.